All right. Well, first, let's just talk about this journey to the Olympics you had, because I mean, again, as was the common storyline with your journey, never won a state title, never won an NCAA title or anything, but now you're a bronze medalist. Like, did you do you feel like your story is unique among your peers in the track and field community, or I mean, how did you get to
Yeah,
this point?
I would definitely say that I think in Olympic trials, that final, if you look at everyone who was in the final with me, they were NCAA champion.
Hmm.
Um, except the college girl, Jaden Mays. She's still in college, obviously, but everyone, Gabby, Jenna, Abby, who else is in that final? Shakari, everyone was a final, everyone was the NCAA champion. So yeah, I think it's very unique. I was the only one in that final who in Mackenzie Long, everyone was a finalist or NCAA champion in their time in college. So except me. And obviously the other college girl.
And,
Um, so
and
yeah.
and high school. I mean, I feel like that's probably even
In
the
high
more
school
unique
as
thing to talk
well. So that's the thing.
about. High school
Like
championship.
I always tell people like, I went to school in California, obviously, and California state track meets are like very hard. I only made it to my state track championship one time, and I got second there. So I never made it out. There's like this big meet that it's called like Masters, and it's like the meet before state. And I never made it out of Masters until my senior year. So yeah, I never won state. That was and a lot. I don't know their high school stories. I don't know all their high school stories, but I'm assuming that most of them probably were a state champion. um, so yeah, and then the other part I said was like I didn't go to like a very well known like big school for track, so I know I was really known for like football and wrestling. And like I think our track program is definitely coming a long way, but it's not like a LSU or Arkansas or a Texas school. So yeah, I think my story is very unique in comparison to everyone else's story.
So what gave you that belief all those years? I mean, after you finished college and you knew, hey, I've never been an NCAA champion. I think that maybe fifth was the highest I think you'd finish at the NCAAs was what I saw.
Yes, yes,
Um,
fifth.
like what still gave you that belief that like, hey, I can still compete on the world stage in track?
I just knew I was good. Like I just knew I was good. I knew I had talent. I knew like I had like coaches around me who really believed that I was a talented athlete and just needed like I don't know, I would say like the right tools to get me to certain places. So I just kept prevailing. I think a lot of times, like I know since I tweeted that, a lot of athletes have reached out to me, track and obviously non-track people who are just saying like my path looks different, but you inspire me to keep going. And I just want like people to know that it doesn't have to look like the concrete like path to get to a certain goal. I think some people have that, and kudos to them. But a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have like, you know, certain accolades that deem you to look like you're going to be a star. And doesn't mean that you still can't be a star. Doesn't mean that you still can't reach your goals. So yeah, it's definitely I just kept going. I kept prevailing. I just had a belief in myself, a belief in my team, and wherever I was, whether I was training in Iowa, whether I was in Texas or Arkansas, like I really just had this belief that like I could still do this. And I had talent and I had a lot of work. I worked a lot to get here, injuries and whatnot. Like it's been a long journey. So I just kept going.
And are you what, 27 or I forget
No,
how
no, I'm older. I'm 29.
29. Okay. Well, is that, I mean, is that too a little bit of a unique part of it? I don't know exactly what like the perfect age would be for somebody who's a sprinter on the world stage, but I mean, do you feel like you've had to still like grind it out a lot longer than a lot of other people?
I always tell people I feel very track young. And I think the prime ages for like female athletes in the sport is like where I'm at right now, 28 to like 32, 33. Like those are like your prime ages. After you get like, I mean, a lot of women are still going and Allison Felix, Shelly Ann, Nia Ali. There's a lot of women who are getting older and still making teams, getting medals. But I'm in my prime right now. Um, according to like track people, how they see like female athletes. But yeah, I think it's I say it's been a long burn, I guess I would say. Like it wasn't like immediate gratification. It wasn't like I got to college and it was this and that, and I was signed to a shoe deal right out of college. It wasn't that per se. So it's been a long, long progression to this medal, to this team, a lot of ups and downs. But it's definitely been a long journey to get here. But I'm in my prime right now, so I'm just gonna keep it right here.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like you're still in the perfect age for
Yeah.
when the Olympics come to your home state in 4 years
Yes.
now. So is
Yeah.
that your driving force, or what is your next big motivation? I mean, I know that in the track world, you guys have worlds and stuff, and so you have other competitions spread out between the Olympics, but people just aren't following it, the rest of those 4 years, unfortunately. So what is it that's really driving you or motivating you right now? Are you thinking like, all right, time to start training for LA, or do you have other stuff to play?
Well, how we do it is like we like it's next year's Worlds and the year after that is Worlds. I think the year before the Olympics is an off year, I believe, and then it's Olympics. So that's what we think about. We think about Worlds. We think about the next cycle, whatnot. For me personally, like a goal of mine is I have a bronze medal in the Olympics, and then I have a silver medal from Doha in 2019. So I want to finish out the trifecta. I need a gold, and I think my goal is eventually coming. But um, yeah, that's for me personally. Like I want to finish it out wherever that is, a world championship or Olympic Games. But for me, I want to finish out my I was looking at my medals the other day. I was like, okay, I have a gold and silver. I mean, I have a bronze and a silver. I just need a gold to finish it off. So that's what I really want for me.
Was that bronze? Was that something that going into the games? I guess I don't know what goal you had set for yourself. Were you going out like, all right, I can win gold, or I want to finish on the podium? What was the goal you had for yourself in Paris?
The goal for me was always to win. The goal for me was to win and show up and, be excellent in what I knew I could do. Now, it wasn't the perfect race. I think that's hard for like athletes. Like, it wasn't a perfect race, but we still showed up on the podium. So I was happy and grateful for that. But the goal was to win, and it didn't happen. But like, this is my Olympic debut. It's my first time at the Olympics. And with everything I experienced, like this is a bronze is great. It would have been horrible if I wasn't on the podium. So it's like you can't really like be too bad. So yeah, it was I knew I was gonna be on the podium. I wanted a gold, but to come out with the bronze in my first Olympics, like um crazy, really crazy.
Well, you sound so confident. You said you knew you were going to be on the podium.
Yes.
So you were pretty confident that you could be at
Yes.
least top three going into that thing.
Yes, yes. That was not a question in my head. It was more so like I want to go for gold and which color am I gonna get? So that wasn't that, podium was gonna be there, it was just which color.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it was just by, I mean, what was fourth place? Just 5,000th of a second or hundredth,
I
something
can't
like that. I
remember
mean,
what she went.
it was pretty
But it was
huge.
very close. It was
Yeah.
very close. Um, That was crazy. I when I won my first medal in Doha, I ran 22:22. And then this year I ran 22:20 to get a bronze. So the twos are a really big place in my life right now. So I put on Instagram, I said, I think my next gold medal is going to be a really special number. So yes, it was a very close race. It was a dip, and it was a fight to the finish. I didn't have, like I said, it wasn't the most executed races, so I had to come back at the end and get myself back in the race. And I did that, and yeah, I got myself back in the race, and I got on the podium just by this bit of a margin, but we got on the podium.
Yeah. So in a 22-second race, there's not a lot of time for anything much to go wrong or right. But what was the moment for you that you feel like was imperfect, as you say?
Probably the beginning half of my race wasn't the most like executed part of my race, and I think it's hard as athletes, like like you want to, like I said, like I knew I was going to be on the podium. It was just which color. And, I wanted to have that and it didn't happen on that day. So the beginning half of my race wasn't the best. But the last half of my race, I can definitely say I'm proud of, because I think sometimes when you notice that you aren't in the race, or just in life, when you notice you're just like, I'm behind, it's like, okay, I can either give up or I could just keep trying. So I think in that moment, like in the race, I was like, okay, I'm not in the race. Like, we can still keep this. We can still go on the podium. And, that's what I did. I fought. And probably my last 30 meters was, I was fighting to get on that podium and we made it happen.
Well, there was the video of you afterwards, you almost just like, we're laying on the track.
Yeah.
Just tell me what was going through your mind in that moment, what you were thinking or feeling or experiencing.
Relief. Like I said, I knew I was gonna be on the podium, but it was just like, at first they had like third and fourth, like it said photo finish. I'm like, okay, like what is it? So it was a lot of relief going in. I was definitely laid out, excited, relief, and just like taking in the moment. I think these moments go by so fast. Like we're here, we're there. Like people are asking about LA 2028 already, and this and that. So it's like, I think for me, just laying on the ground was just like, I'm not gonna have this moment ever again. So let me just take a breath in this moment where I have to get up and take the pictures and do media and all this stuff. So it was just like a moment I was able to have myself and just really like take in the moment and be in that moment. So yeah.
Yeah. What's that like? I always think about after somebody wins and they're on top of the podium and they're hearing their national anthem. That always feels like, maybe the most special moment for an athlete. I mean, what's that like for you? You're on the podium and Gabby won the gold, but you're still hearing your national anthem up there. What's that moment like for you?
It was a great moment. Like I said, like this has been like a long burn for me. Like, my path has definitely looked a lot different from other people's paths. So to get on the podium in my first Olympics, it's been um, a tremendous feeling, grateful feeling for all my team and my support staff who have got me here, who have really made sure that I prevailed despite of setbacks. So it was a feeling that you really can't put into words, to know that like I still made it here regardless.
Yeah. Do you use that as, I don't know, if you spend some time as a whatever motivational speaker, that kind of thing, if you've been invited places yet, but is that something you want to use to again inspire younger athletes?
I definitely have been asked. So I think that's the cool thing about the Olympics. Like in track and Olympics, like people love watching. I think the biggest sports watch in the Olympics is like track, swimming, gymnastics. So it is definitely cool to have all this attention on track. And me right now, I've definitely been asked. So that's exciting. I never thought I'd be like a motivational speaker, but then I might look back on my story. I was like, oh, I did do that. So this is like some motivational stuff. So it is exciting to like share my story and know that it resonates with people. And not even just like in the athlete space, and just like people who are trying to like pursue goals, pursue dreams, and go after them. Like I've had many people who don't even run track, who just, I see your story, I see that you kept going, and it just makes me want to keep going. So, maybe one day you'll see me one day on a TED Talk giving a motivational speaker or speaking event. But yeah, it's exciting to know I can resonate with people through my story. So yeah.
Is there anybody that has inspired you in the same way? Anybody that whatever kind of guided you along this path?
So many people. Oh my God. There's a list of people. Definitely like I always talk about my sister. She played basketball in college. She went to Youngstown State. She played basketball overseas. So she's someone I've always looked up to. And like someone who does like professional sports. And yeah, just like my team, my coach, my therapist, my mental performance coach, like um, the girls that I train with are really inspiring. Like they push me. Um, and yeah, just everyone that like my true fans that really support me and keep supporting me, ups and downs, highs and lows. So those people really keep me going.
Yeah. I just want to hear about the rest of your time in Paris. Like any special moments, anything in particular that stands out just from spending time off of the track when you're not working, anything that really special for you?
I think it's hard because like before the race, I was so like, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm just stay locked in. And by the time it came for the end, it was like so much media days like that were happening. It was like back to back, like the past right after my race, it was like 3 days after. I'm like still doing media. But it was exciting to do a lot of interviews and talk to people. I didn't eat, I don't know if you heard about the chocolate muffins. I didn't eat any of the chocolate muffins before I ran. So I finally had a chocolate muffin after, and I was like, top tier, best thing they've ever had here. Like if I would have known these were that good, I probably would have ate this the whole time. So I'm glad I didn't know. But they were so good. Like, I don't know if you know, the food wasn't the best, but the chocolate muffins were chef's kiss. Like they were so good. So I was happy I was able to try that. I got a little closer to the Eiffel Tower, took some pictures down there. They had like a little parade for some athletes that got medals. So I was glad I was able to experience that and just see like I saw Katie Ledecky. I took a picture with her. I saw Megan, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I saw her, took a picture with her. So I saw a couple of Iowa people there, so that was exciting. And yeah, just being around like so many athletes who are like, going after like what they want and like it was just a cool like place to be in this environment. Like all the best of the best are in this village. So it was exciting to be around that.
Yeah, Gustafson is Megan's last name. It's funny. I was
Yes.
I was just on a Zoom call with her for the Aces yesterday, and she had the same comment about the chocolate muffins. I'm like, man, really were all they were cracked up to be. Good
They
grief.
were.
Um, so did you go to any other events? Like, were you going out to watch any other sports?
No, I wish.
Really?
I really do wish. It was just like, yeah, it was hard, but like, because we said my first round was like the peak of everything else going on. So I didn't really get to see much. So yeah, I didn't get to see much.
You talked about Katie Ledecky. Was that the most famous person you met there? Your most starstruck moment?
I mean, I've definitely talked to most, I not most, I talked to a lot of people. I mean, I saw like a Simone Biles, I saw Jordan, Childs, I took a picture with Dwayne Wayne, I saw Terry Crews, Snoop Dogg called us after the 200 final. So it was definitely a star-studded like event going on. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, cool. Do you have the medal handy? I didn't know if it's like around or
I
what.
do. I do have it. Do you want to see
I'd
it?
love to.
Okay, okay, let me get it. Here's the medal. Here it
What
is.
what kind of plans you got for this? Where's it gonna go?
Okay, so where is this gonna go? This has to go to Kinnick with me, and whenever I go out there, it's gonna go to California. They're gonna have a parade for me back in my city where I'm from. Where else is it going?
Well, sorry, I meant more like in your home. Like, how's it gonna be?
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking where are all the places gonna go? Sorry. This is going on a journey though. In my home. Oh, I haven't thought of that yet. So
Okay.
far, it's just um yeah, so far it's sitting on my countertop, just figuring out because I have to take it with. So I'm going overseas, and then from overseas, I'm going back home, and then I have to probably go to Iowa and then Arkansas. So it's like there's a couple other places. This is it's still on the go right now. This is
Okay.
getting ready for its next trip, basically.
Gotcha.
So yes, she's still getting ready for her next trip.
Do they tell you a lot about the medals themselves? I mean, I thought that maybe the coolest thing about these that is that they have the little piece of the Eiffel Tower in there. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know if they like take time to
Yeah,
explain.
yeah, they did. They did. They
Okay.
said this part is like apart from the Eiffel Tower. And then I don't know about this part, but There is like they didn't tell us much. They gave us like a cool box. They gave us like a pin that goes with it, only for like Olympic medalists that we don't trade. Um, so yeah, they give us some history. They don't give us a lot of history, but I did know this is part of the Eiffel Tower, and I thought that was so cool. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is crazy. I'm always gonna have the Eiffel Tower with me.
That's sweet. Yeah, as I was doing research, I'm like, no other Olympic Games have really done that where they've like put a part of their city or whatever in a medal, and it's yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah. I'm excited to like, I don't know, just to know I kind of like I'm a part of history, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, even Hawkeye history too. Like there are a lot of Hawkeyes who have, especially on the track, who have medaled in women's. I think what you were the first individual woman from
Yes.
Iowa to
Mhm.
win a medal at the Olympic Games. I mean, you're part of you're part of Olympic history or your high school history, but Hawkeye history too.
Yes. I was telling someone like a couple of interviews, they're like, does everyone ask you about Iowa? I was like, yes, everyone always asks me about Iowa. Iowa will never, ever escape me. So, yes, a part of Hawkeye history. And I'm super excited to be a part of that and to know that, like, I just want people to know that you can, like, make your own environment anywhere. Like, I went to, like, a non typical traditional school for track. And, now I'm one of the first to medal for this school. So yeah, it's I Hawkeye fans are everywhere. There were Hawkeye fans when I was running across. They're like, "Oh my God, we're here!" So they're literally everywhere, which is crazy. When I first won my first medal, they were in Doha. There's Hawkeye fans in Paris, so they were everywhere. I don't know how they end up coming, but they're always somehow. I'm just like, where are they? Always show up and pop up somewhere.
Oh, crazy. Why is it that most people ask about Iowa? I mean, I obviously talk to almost exclusively Iowa athletes, but for you,
Uh-huh.
why does everybody ask about it? Is it because it's a,
Yes,
non-traditional track school?
yes, and I think that's anytime I get announced. Usually they always say Iowa. And I think that's why, because it's not a very traditional, like I'm like I said, like most of the people that I want that made try out for the team, like went to LSU, went to Arkansas, went to or a big school or were NCAA champions. So yeah, I think it's very like counterintuitive what it is to be like a track star in the US. Like, you go to a big school, you're an NCAA champion, and that isn't my story. So people always bring up Iowa, like, oh, Iowa. Like, there's a lot of videos that when I'm running, they're like the Iowa Hawkeye Project. I'm like, haven't been in school for 10 years, but you guys still bring up Iowa. Like, okay, guys, like I have so many other titles, but thank you. But yeah, so it's very common for them to bring it up.